We're back again. We're back again. And would I say it was a massive week? I don't know if I would say it was a massive week. We had a cool flash challenge, a little addition to the flash challenge. That was interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't have a DeAndre Ayton, but that was nice to see. And we've got a great guest today. We have a guest with a lot of broad understanding, a guy that's been here since the beginning. He was actually the first podcast that I ever listened to on Top Shot. But we're gonna have some fun today. I see that Raw Superstar is in the chat. So nice to see you, Raw. And I think that we could just jump in. Why don't we just do it? Let's talk about the week that was, the 5 topics. So the first thing that I want to discuss is NFL All Day. So this week we heard that NFL Day All Day, that's the name, and it's happening. We don't know exactly when. But something that I thought was pretty cool was that Patrick Mahomes was tweeting about it. And so he had like 2,000 likes on that. We learned a little bit about how it's going to work with like melting and slowly melting, like a nice cheesy melt with different players and offensive linemen. And I think it's going to be fun. I mean, I am very curious what's going to happen to the larger marketplace. I mean, I know like when Roham did his office hours, he said he wasn't concerned. He thought it would have a great network effect, but I would say the same thing if I was Roham. So I'm more curious kind of to hear what somebody like TJ has to say about something like that. And hello to Quarter from the UK. Good day, good eve, sir. And this guy is about to jump into the Cool Cats, the gaming wizard. And hello, Sinon. Sinon has 8 ballers, I believe. Okay. So next, the trade ticket frenzy that is occurring. So I don't know if you guys recall, but last week I had Packrip on, and Packrip was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put in the hours and hours of time. But what happened? He did it anyway. And then we saw Alexo do the same thing. He went on Twitter. He's like, hey, if you guys want to trade me, I got some Top Shot debuts, S1s. So it seems like people are changing their tune quite rapidly about these S1 reserve packs. As a reminder, it's happening on Tuesday. And as a reminder, if you have those 350 tickets, you're going to have to put those in and convert them into tickets by tomorrow, 11 a.m. PST. Hello to Jimbo, who's on the plane. Jimbo, have a good flight. So again, if you see this chart, you see the volatility is really high. And I think I have about 325 floor moments. So I think I'm going to go for it. Will I open it on stream? I still don't even know, honestly. I got to think about it if I'm lucky enough to get one. Next, Top Shot Thanksgiving. It was another Twitter spam fest in a good way, I suppose. Everyone retweeting and quote tweeting and tagging all their friends, and a lot of people got packs. I think I actually was lucky enough to get 2 packs. Unfortunately, I wasn't given a pack, which was too bad. And Isaiah Thomas has something to say about that.
I don't know what went into that process. I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't.
Yeah. Thanks, Isaiah. You say it. You took the words right out of my mouth. But maybe next time, guys. All right. The other thing that happened that was cool was we had a little bit of this Thanksgiving flash challenge, which I talked about. What was cool about that was that you had to have a rare moment. So I'm fairly sure that the rare moment floors went up, and it's I just thought that was a welcome change. And I wonder if we're going to keep seeing things like that, where we start changing it up a little bit and just adding wrinkles to these flash challenges, because I think they're great. Then we have the new threads pack happening tomorrow, I believe. And we have a poll that's live on the YouTube channel asking if you guys are excited for this or not. So there's the fresh threads pack. It's going to cost $14. And what was unique about this pack is that they're starting to really tell us about these airdrops. So if you have a legendary set, you're going to get 5 packs. I mean, I don't know how many of you have legendary sets, but if you have a rare set, so the wolf pack, you guys are getting three of these packs just for owning. And if you have a summer of 21, Cool Cat, Seeing Stars, WNBA, you get 1 pack. Lucky me, I have a summer of 21 set. So good for me. I have the cheapest set. I get a pack. Some notable omissions. I mean, like the The Hustle and Show group, they are not getting a pack this time around. If you ask me, it is probably because once that Hustle and Show new set comes out, they're probably going to get rewarded quite nicely, if I had to guess. Finally, in this week in NFTs and more, nothing too crazy, but before I started the stream today, I saw that the Bored Ape Yacht Club, among two other projects, also is teasing that there is going to be some Adidas merch. I don't know if it's going to be Adidas merch with Bored Apes on it, or if it's just going to be like licensed Adidas merch on the Bored Apes in the metaverse or whatever. Um, if that gets you excited, then great. It doesn't really get me very excited, and I wonder if I'd feel different if I owned one of these NFTs. I don't know. I guess I am. I'm a boomer. Afraid to say it. Then the other note was that this Dwayne Wade handles moment seen here, or AKA the Shaq vintage vibes, it was fixed. So I'd say that's a good thing. I mean, I saw some people like, oh yeah, but what does this mean? What if we bought that moment because we really love Dwayne Wade and then they change it? That just shows me that people like to complain about everything, honestly. But I'm happy that they did that, and I hope that happens in the future when we see other moments that don't make a whole lot of sense to us. Then finally, Ballers, the momentum continues to build on this Ballers project. I see people, I put a tweet out today saying if you had bought Ballers, so it was actually $200 at Mint, would you sell it today for 3,000? And it's half and half out of 172 votes as of last. So that was interesting to me. Like, people are incredibly bullish on a product that has no marketplace still and is all kind of roadmap, right? It's all like, we're going to make a game, we're going to do all these crazy things, we're going to have utility, but what utility, what game? Right now, it's anybody's guess, but hey, I'm not going to rain on any parades. I hope that all happens. I hope everyone who owns a Ballers, like Sinon with his 8 Ballers, I hope he gets incredibly rich, and I hope you guys all have fun with your Ballers. All right. I think that is the beginning. So let's just take a look at who's in here real quick. Ra, he's got the Summer and the Hustle and Show, so he's going to get one pack, it looks like. Summer of 21. Yes, Summer of 21. Do we need to make our own movement? Do we need our own little like Discord? There's Coffee. Hey, Coffee. And Quarter is looking forward to the drop tomorrow. He is quite new, so he's not going to go for the 350 tickets. Maybe on the next one. Well, you better start sniping, Quarter, because it's hard work. It's not easy. Okay, so my guest today is TJ Laessig, and let's give him a proper introduction. Here we go.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah,
little Rocky action.
Gotta do it. Gotta find like the free Rocky music.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've accidentally used wrong music on our podcast before, and then you get the angry emails from YouTube, but you'll be fine.
All right, good. I'm trying to play it safe from the beginning. But anyway, TJ, great to have you. It's a special moment to have you on this, because as I said, you guys were the first podcast I listened to about Top Shot when I was sweating in Brazil, stuck there because of the pandemic, and I found Top Shot, and I just went straight to podcasts, and I found you guys. So you guys were talking about like, is Luka Doncic S2 a good buy for like $3,500? I think it is, and I was like, all right. but yeah,
crazy times. Uttering those words, it seemed like probably a fantastic idea at that time, and
oh yeah,
things have changed quite a bit over the past 10 months or however long it's been.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. But yeah, it's great to have you on. And if you guys aren't aware of On the Moment, it's basically the go-to website, I think, for getting a good look on what every different moment is doing, getting a good look on what different challenges and how they're moving, and predictions when Justin makes his predictions. So I feel like you guys have really cornered that. And since then, you have branched off and you're doing projects for other sports related NFTs. You've created your own fantasy sports related NFT owners club. So you guys have really branched out from the beginnings that you've had with the NBA Top Shot. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's been a fun journey, and still obviously love the Top Shot stuff and all the Top Shot analytics. We actually just today pushed our new showcase quest challenges onto the site now, so people can see that data in real time. Took a little bit of effort to get that through, but we just released that on the site. And yeah, the Owners Club has been a ton of fun, and really just looking forward to everything that there is to do in this space.
Well, it truly feels like you guys are picking different grapes from all the bowls. But how are you currently feeling about NBA Top Shot? Because as you said, it's changed quite a bit from when I was listening to you back in February, and we've seen peaks and valleys and little peaks again, and then new valleys, and I'm sure you're aware too of like the sentiment as of late or recently wasn't so hot. I mean, what is your big picture view, or maybe your micro and then your macro view of NBA Top Shot?
Yeah, I think micro right now, we were hoping for a little bit more of a exciting start to Series 3, maybe. I think that there was a lot of hype building up like towards the end of the summer. And as we were approaching the season, we had to run it back. And then just feels like it went through a little bit of a lull, although, some of these flash challenges, I really like the idea of that. I think as much that can be done to keep people engaged and give you a reason to be engaged on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis, I think that's the direction that we're headed towards. And yeah, I mean, things have just changed since the goal was, oh, okay, I'm going to buy all these moments. And the reason that I'm buying them is because I expect the price to go up and then I'm going to sell them for more money. I think you have to come at it with a different lens than that. If that's the only lens that you come at this with, you're never going to be happy. And so, yeah, for me, it's more about the full experience, and I'm being patient to wait and see. But yeah, micro, I think there's been some challenges recently, but macro, I'm still all in on the prospects here that we have across not just NBA Top Shot, but with NFL coming up, and really the world of sports NFTs and everything Dapper Labs is doing in general.
Sure. And how are you feeling about the NFL, the product? Or like, I'm actually curious what you think about the effect that it will have on Top Shot, but also just to ask, like, what are you looking forward to on that product?
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I thought we were going to have it by now, to be honest. I figured, I was really hoping that Thanksgiving would have been the day where we get, either the release itself or line of sight towards it. Obviously, we got the name release, so it's a step in the right direction. It has me thinking that at least private beta has to be coming soon. And I think it's going to be a home run. I think it's going to bring a lot more sports fans, NFL fans into the NFT space. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have a positive impact on the Top Shot market. I do think from a micro view, it's probably going to have a negative effect. I mean, for me personally, I'm not really looking to be depositing more money. So I'm much more likely to sell a Top Shot moment, to load up Dapper Balance, to buy NFL moments. I have a feeling that most people are going to be the same, just realistically. But if we are able to bring new people in, I think in the long term, the network effects that Roham has alluded to, et cetera, will definitely come into play at some point. And I'm excited for it. Obviously, I'm not trying to project too much about what it's going to be, because I feel like every time people, you just don't know. And so sit back, wait and see what happens. And I think it's going to be fun no matter what.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about though? I wonder if they'll do it in a way where, almost like Top Shot right now, packs are not these flippers paradise anymore on Top Shot, and I wonder if they will start with that strategy, I would say, on NFL, because I think if you get into NFL knowing that you're not going to be able to flip for 10x, then maybe you'd be less likely to like sell off your Top Shot holdings.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I do. The one thing I do love about NFL is that it's starting from square one, right? Top Shot got into a weird starting place because it technically started long before the majority of users were on the platform. And then as a result of that, a lot of the people that were in very early had access to all the highest value moments, and it created these kind of tilted scales, whereas everybody's going to be starting at the same time, same day, same chance of getting a pack, same chance of getting whatever moments in those packs. So I think that, we'll see a much more kind of stable, accurate marketplace from the get-go, whereas Top Shot just had so many crazy external factors that no market has probably ever seen, that we just went through the wild times of January, February, March, summer, and got us to where we are today.
Yeah, 100%. And so tell me a little bit then about the Owners Club, because I know that the Owners Club, it's like a fantasy football product. Yes. So you have different cards for the different players or defenses, etc., and you line them up, and it's very similar experience to what other people would have currently on other fantasy products, or is it somehow different?
Yeah, it's a little different. So one big difference is that the cards are not actually of players, they're of teams and a position.
Oh,
So if you have the Philadelphia wide receiver NFT, which you wouldn't want to have because my Eagles stink, but if you had the Philadelphia wide receiver NFT, you play that in your lineup, you get points cumulative for all of the Philadelphia wide receivers for that given week. Same thing with running back, etc. Yeah, you can purchase the NFTs. We actually are now completely sold out of both of our packs and single cards, but you can hit the secondary marketplace and buy up any of the cards that you want. Once you own the NFTs, you can then use them in our free contests. We have 4 contests every single week, giving away $65,000 worth of prizes. We also just announced last week that we were going to be having a special $100,000 guaranteed tournament for the playoffs. So our biggest tournament yet. Again, trying to reward those people that have stuck with us throughout the season, and it's been an absolute blast. Love the Owners Club community, and definitely have a long-term plan here at Own the Moment in terms of sports gaming utility with NFTs going forward.
So do you have a vision of doing this for like basketball as well in the future?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not much of a fantasy guy, but I think I might be more likely to get involved if it was basketball related. But that's cool. So there you go, folks. You heard it here first. They're crushing it on NFL. They're going to do basketball too. Very cool.
One day.
Very cool.
One of the things, on a serious note, that one of the things that we have been very, very like aware of and learned from Top Shot is being very like pointed about our communication. So making sure that when we say that we're going to do something, we are saying it across all of the different channels and giving everyone the opportunity to hear things at the same time. And I think that's something that, with Top Shot, there's just so much happening. And sometimes there's information that gets, alluded to in Discord. Other times there's something on a Twitter account, or someone from the Top Shot team will put out their own Twitter thread, or there's an email. Like, I think that streamlining communications is super important, and knowing like, okay, if I'm locked into this one channel, I'm going to be getting all of the messages and all at the right time. So I think that's, in this kind of new Discord age, it's a little bit more complicated, right? Because old school companies, it's like, okay, yeah, you communicate through email and it's pretty much as simpler as that. But now you have email, you have Discord, you have Twitter. So for like NFT based companies, I think communication is very important, and making sure that you're delivering the right messages at the right time to all of the customers.
So what do you think is the answer to that then? Just to spread out your messaging across every single, like me, I'm live streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter right now. So is that the idea? Like just everywhere at the same time? Because I'm tired of Discord, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I think I do think that is kind of how you have to go about it, right? Because you're going to have people that are consuming your content through, that they look at all the emails that you send, but they don't go into the Discord. So if you're just going to announce something in Discord and not send it to your email list, that person's never going to find out the information, or they're going to find out it too late. And then it's a poor experience, because as we know, things move fast in the NFT space. So I think it either needs to be across all of the channels simultaneously, or it needs to be like very clearly communicated of like, hey, we're going to tell you about a certain thing through this channel. If you want to learn about when pack drops are coming, like, you need to be signed up for this list. So right. It's easier for us because it's much smaller scale. Obviously, when you get to something like Top Shot, the scale is just incredible. And I think that's a lot of the difficulties that they have to deal with, is just at such massive volumes. But yeah, right. I do think it's very important.
Yeah, that's why I think, honestly, the mobile app stuff is so important. And that's why I really hope they can figure out the mobile app. And maybe you guys will also create a mobile app one day for your fantasy product. Because, yeah, I think because, for example, I have email, Discord, whatever, all on my phone. So if I know that I need that, if I have that app and I get that notification, I'm way more likely to engage.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. I think that a mobile app with push notifications is by far the easiest method of streamlining communications.
For sure. So hopefully they are working on that. And actually, I just thought of something with your NFL product. How does it work on the following season? Is it like all positions have been bought And so if anyone ever wants to get involved in years to come, it's just on the secondary market, or how does it work?
No, so these are the Edition 1 NFTs, so they're only good for this season. Next season, there will be a new batch of NFTs for the following season. We will also be having an OGs contest where you use the Edition 1 cards into next season. So that is what we've said to date on that point. But yeah, there will be a brand new pack drop, brand new 2 games and such going into next season. And who knows, things could be drastically different in a ton of different ways 7-8 months from now. But that's the plan for next year.
That's interesting though, because it's something that I see across NFT projects too, which is like, how do you grow but still give the benefits to the people who believed in you in the beginning? So it sounds like you're going to have like a tournament of sorts for the OGs that they can continually use those S1, but it won't be like the main event.
Correct. And like, how things work for us, right, is the reason that we were able to give away over $1 million in prizes this season was because of the money that we made from the NFT drop. So if we don't do an S2, a Series 2 drop of NFTs, we're not going to bring in enough money to be able to offer the large prize pool. So it's all kind of a give and take. And, we have that clear plan where we have the OGs contest next year. We haven't said exactly what that's going to look like or exactly how many, how much the prize pool is going to be. But yeah, it's really finding that balance between having a roadmap, giving your customers confidence that you have a roadmap, but also not even over promising, but like committing to something so early that by the time it gets to that time, there could have been something better that you could have done. And so it's this new weird environment where everybody wants a roadmap and everybody wants, tell me exactly what you're going to do for the next 12 months. But in my opinion, this space moves so fast that if I'm committing to something, like a strict plan for the next 12 months, it's not a good decision because you need to be adapting to the way that things are going to change. And that's, what we're doing. We're leaving our options open. I think that our community trusts that we're going to be able to deliver. I think that, everything that we've done this season has hopefully given them that confidence, and we appreciate that and look forward to building some awesome things heading into next year.
It's very cool. And I like too that you get the position. So if there's a scratch, you don't get
no injuries.
No injuries. And is there like a waiver wire type of thing? I always used to dislike that whole.
There's no waiver wire. It's just buying and selling on the secondary marketplace. So the most simplest way is that once you own an NFT, you can just use that same card in your lineup every single week for the rest of the season. But then you can also play the week-to-week game by going to the secondary marketplace, trying to hunt for deals, things of that nature, and build out your lineups that way. And then we have 4 different contests with different formats. So different cards are valuable in the different contests. For example, we rolled out a low ball contest where the lowest score actually wins. So you want to have the worst cards in that game. And so, that's kind of our idea, is that no matter what card you get, there's at least hopefully some silver lining that you can find and get some at least feeling of utility out of it. Not that it guarantees you're going to win anything.
So that's when you play the Eagles.
There you go. Exactly. Man, it was so funny. We had Thanksgiving and stuff this weekend, and everyone's talking about, the Eagles have the easiest schedule the rest of the way. We're going to win out, yada, yada, yada. And then they just come out and score 7 points against the Giants. So, hey, now we can stop with that false hope.
Oh, well, you demolished the Patriots a few years back. So
we'll always have that. Thank you, Nick Foles.
You always have that. Cool. And what about, well, actually, one other question actually was, maybe I can probably just look at this myself, but the original mint happened on the website. I'm sure you remember all this data, but like what's the market look like compared to what the original minting was, and what's the secondaries looking like now?
In terms of the prices?
Yeah.
So we actually ran of course, in typical OTM fashion, a behind the scenes like EV calculation last week, and the expected value calculation of the cards was still right around $50, which was the mint price, which to me is a good thing. Obviously, or maybe not obviously, but with our game, the cards theoretically lose value the further we get into the season, because if I had own the same card in week 1, I have 17 weeks worth of contests that I'm able to play them in, versus if I just buy it now, I only have the 6 or whatever remaining weeks. So, I think that people, for the most part, have been able to get their money's worth in the secondaries. And I think everything's at a good price point. It's at a good place where you can go in and fill out a team at a reasonable price and on the secondary. And then there's also some bigger sales that happen from some of the bigger players. And I think we've seen a couple of the Joker cards go for upwards of $1,000. So, we're not the NFT project where we're going to have these like 1 ETH floors. That's not what this is meant to be. It's meant to be more of that gamification aspect. And that was, we didn't want to do just another kind of 10K avatar project. Nothing against those, but we felt that we had a bit of a unique take on how we could leverage NFTs and provide a gaming experience and community around it.
I think that you bring up actually a good point, which is a lot of these gaming NFTs now have such a high cost of entry that it's like, how are you going to onboard new people if to play your game, they have to go drop? Like, I mean, I know, for example, this wolf game, or, if you want a wolf, it's like 9 or 5 Ethereum or something ridiculous like that. So it's not easy to bring on new people into a game if it's going to be super expensive.
Yeah, definitely something that we're thinking about. And even like, to be honest, our game in the beginning was relatively high cost of entry. Like packs were $200. So on one hand, it's high cost, but on the other hand, you buy a pack for $200, you get 17 weeks worth. I think that's more than fair. And we had some angry like flipper type people in the beginning that get mad if they can't instantly flip their NFTs for 10x. But that's just never going to be the project that we have here. So we're completely content with that.
Well, that's good to be clear, and it seems like you guys are doing that, so that's good. And where do you, if bringing that back to like Top Shot, have you pulled any experience from your work with the Owners Club and maybe even your work with the other NFT projects that you've done, where you've thought, oh, this is almost like an easy thing for Top Shot to do, they should be doing this?
Oof. See, it's hard to, I don't want to say that there's anything easy that they could do, just because, again, like the scale is so extreme. I've always thought that, they talk about fandom, and I do think that's a big part of this. And it's like, how can they help us like zero in on some of the fandom aspects, right? So I'm a Sixers fan. How can it be a little bit more clear to me of like almost local targeted Sixers related things that I could do that, maybe I have a chance to win tickets to a game, or maybe I have a chance to win a signed Joel Embiid jersey, or maybe not even a signed Joel Embiid jersey, but just an Embiid jersey, right? Like, kind of like I was saying about the communications, there's just so much going on that I think for a lot of people, and not just going on in Top Shot, but in this space in general, that how can we be kind of fed the most narrow understanding of, hey, focus on these things and as a collector and do those well. So I think something around the giveaways and teams, I'm really like, I got really hyped over the summer with all the summer series or the summer league, like the booth at the arena. I want to see more of that stuff. To me, that's exciting. And that's when you get kind of the mainstream people involved. Bring that real world experience in with the Top Shot moments. That's what I'm most bullish on and hoping to see eventually.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that. When that happened, I was like, oh, it's happening. Like something different is in the air. This is yeah, exactly, Eric Chapman, kiosks. But like, I think that we found out from what Roham and what Jacob have also said is that it's a major lift. It sounds like it's a really big lift to get these kiosks in arena. But I think it's part that it's like this amazing like sensory experience, but also I think it's about the experiences that you can't buy. Like you could go and buy seats to a game, and you could go and buy a Joel Embiid jersey, right? So I'm wondering and maybe you can answer this. What's like an experience that you wouldn't be able to buy that Top Shot could offer you that you'd be like, yes, now I get it.
Oh, interesting. That's tough because my first thoughts always involve like, something with the players involved, right? And obviously that's easier said than done, but they should have the pull to be able to make that happen, right? So maybe it's not just tickets to a game, but then it's after the game, you get a meet and greet with some of the players or things of that nature. I think leveraging those would be great. At the same time, I mean, these players are playing the game and focused on that. So I don't know how realistic it is to get to that point. But yeah, and just like the idea of a Top Shot box kind of thing, going to a game with other Top Shot collectors that live in your city and meeting people through that way. I think that would be awesome, and that a lot of the Top Shot community would be really interested. The other problem, again, is just the the chances of winning that are so small, right? We run some giveaways with the Owners Club, and it's like you feel like you have a realistic chance to win because our community is nowhere near the size of Top Shot. So I think that's another challenge. Obviously, it's nice to have that carrot, but if it's like a 0.001% chance of happening, it really isn't that exciting when it comes down to it.
I totally agree with that. How many community members are in the Owners Club?
We have 1,600 unique cardholders.
Okay. So yeah, you do have a.
So you know that's the max, but you know maybe it's a little smaller for the people that are active. But we've seen like over 6,000 entries into the contest, so we got a pretty solid crew in there, and then run a lot of the giveaways through the Discord.
Mm-hmm. Of course, everyone loves clicking a button in Discord. It's probably my favorite thing.
It's the easiest way to do it.
But then it sounds like there's quite a portion of people who like join a project like this, but then don't engage because they just forget, and they have like a full team, but they're not using it. That happens. I take it.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot. Most of our people own enough cards to play in the games. Actually, I was pulling this data the other day. Like 80% of our card holders have at least 20. So that's people typically it's not really worth owning them if you're not going to play in the games. Yeah. Honestly, that's really kind of the whole point. So people typically either own enough to play all the contests, or maybe they've found their way out.
Yeah. So it almost actually feels a little bit like the Flash challenges in a way, where it's sort of just like drag and drop, kind of straightforward.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I would love and I've seen other people say this on Twitter, the Flash challenges I think are super cool. I would love to see the Flash challenges elevate to they lock before the games start, and then you only get, finish the showcase if it holds true after the games end. I think that's an obvious no-brainer, but I think that it's also obvious that there's probably very specific reasons why they're not able to do that, whether it's legalities or whatever. That's my assumption, because otherwise you asked me what a no-brainer is. Otherwise, that is 100% a no-brainer, but I'm assuming there's some sort of legal reasons, or if it gets close to gambling, or I don't know. I'm assuming there's some reason why they're not dipping their toes into that direction yet.
But then the moment ranks isn't, because isn't the moment ranks exactly what you're talking about?
All of this stuff. So it's one thing because I guess Dapper is, but that's not from directly from Dapper, right? So it's one thing for Dapper directly to take that kind of risk on at the scale that they do versus someone else. But I mean, I think it's inevitable, the intersection between NFTs and like whether gaming, fantasy, gambling, whatever the heck, speculating, whatever you want to call it. That is really where we're kind of planting our flag at in the moment, is that future of speculative NFTs. And we have a lot of fun ideas around that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And by the way, because I'm just thinking to myself, like I should have got involved, even though I'm not a big fantasy guy. But how quickly did those sell out when you first released your Owners Club stuff?
1 minute and 36 seconds.
Oh my goodness!
So it's very quick.
So what do you do next time? Are you going to do white lists? And
so what we did, we did one drop with half of the NFTs that sold out super quickly. Then we did, after that, a pre-order system where people were able to put in their orders ahead of time. We were able to prioritize people that didn't get packs in the first drop, distributed them that way. But yeah, so we would just continue with a pre-order queue type of system into next year for the first drop.
I think that sounds right. And also not letting, well, I guess you can't really stop people from buying a bunch and then trying to flip them, but yeah, obviously I think it's in this kind of a project's best interest to just have as many people that want to get involved be able to.
Definitely.
So Coffee, I think we answered this. Why didn't they continue the kiosks into the regular season? From what we've heard from Roham and from Jacob, it's just a massive lift. Summer momentum has been halted. I would agree with that. I think TJ would also agree with that. We were all so hype during the summer, and it has been halted quite a bit. So we're hoping for something fun that comes. Let's just see what else is going on here. Are there currently ongoing drops in the Owners Club, or is it all secondary? I believe you said it's all secondary now, right?
It's all secondary now. We had our last batch of single cards left, and we ran a Black Friday special sale over the last couple of days, and the rest of them sold out. So all secondary marketplace now.
And how many cards was that on Black Friday, and how many minutes?
So we released 2 batches. The first batch was of 600, and they sold in like just under 5 hours. So nothing, it wasn't like crazy this time.
Okay.
They sold out in like under 5 hours, and then we put another 1,000 up, and it took like over 24 hours.
Okay.
Right around 24 hours. So yeah, not crazy, but also still nice to sell them out for sure.
Cool. And Quarter Maniacs has an idea. Graduated rewards for 3 out of 5 in the Saved Showcase. I think that would be cool, because there's obviously going to be nights where you don't realize that like Zubac is going to be the top rebound getter. But if you have 3 out of 5, so yeah, I love it. But as TJ mentioned, it could be a legal thing, could be some type of a gambling thing where you could get the reward by writing your name on a postcard also. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll see. So that's very cool. I kind of wish I paid more attention, but that's okay. I'll pay attention to the next one. And tell me a little about the other projects you've been doing, because I know you did like a project with New Balance, and you did a project with the Pistons. Was it New Balance, or was it like Saucony?
Asics.
It was Asics,
Asics, yeah.
It was one of those like comfortable shoes that you mow the lawn with. But
yeah,
yeah, Asics and Pistons, and what else is going on over there? What other projects were you doing?
Yeah, those were the main 2 that we worked. The Mikey Williams also, who's a big high school basketball player. Yeah, so really we work with this company called I Got It that has kind of built their own blockchain digital ledger where they have relationships with people like the Pistons, like this Mikey Williams. And we've just helped them out from like a strategic standpoint, marketing standpoint, using what we've learned to try and help them kind of launch their own projects. So we worked with Asics and the Pistons over the course of the summer. And, really kind of the evolution was starting in the analytics space, learning a lot about the industry and how NFT projects have been successful or not, using that over the course of the summer to do some like consultant type work with Asics, with the Pistons, learning more through that, and then kind of culminating and launching our own project for the Owners Club. So yeah, I mean, we had good experiences with the Pistons and with Asics. We've been doing a little bit less of that now and focused more on like building our own in-house stuff. But I think it was a good part of the journey that got us to where we are today. And, we tried to use the same principles with the Pistons, for example. And, there's ways that people could collect the NFTs and then end up getting a real world championship ring as a result of it. Again, trying to pull in that physical utility with the digital. So, yeah, it's been great to be able to work with some of these big brands.
Awesome. Very cool. And is there any interesting like lessons learned from the work that you've done with the big brands that might not be super obvious?
Yeah, I think nothing specific comes to mind, but really we kind of came up with this theorem formula at one point that is essentially saying that the value of an NFT is the speculative value multiplied by the appearance, so the aesthetic ability of it, and then the utility. So really the bottom line being that if there's no speculative value at all in the asset, then the asset eventually goes to zero, right? And so that could be that you don't have faith in the blockchain that the NFT is being built on, or the team behind the NFT project, or you just don't think that anyone's going to care about this in a year. So to me, that is kind of the biggest thing. And that's a lot of what we've seen from these projects and the roadmaps and all of that, right? Everybody's trying to at least give the allure of speculative utility. And the second that speculative utility dies, the project typically dies, right? If you know that the owners behind the project are planning to leave the country in 6 months, you're obviously not going to invest in that project. So I think, team is the number one thing that I look at with these NFT projects. The number one thing that scares the hell out of me is all the anonymous people that are behind all of this money being moved around. I think it's dangerous for people to have so much power without having any actual personal brand or reputation on the line. And that's, one of the things that I feel good about from the Own the Moment side is that we are very out there. We're on camera once a week and putting our personal brands, personal reputations on the line. And hopefully that gives people a lot of confidence that we're going to deliver the things we say we want to deliver.
Yeah, and what's even crazier too is that makes total sense. And then you see these projects releasing, like one just released the other day, and the roadmap is like, we don't believe in roadmaps. We believe in like positive vibes. And then it like sells out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm never going to be able to be the one that dissects what the heck, like why that happens. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's like the one thing
you
your
get
analytics.
the right people, the right Twitter accounts tweeting about your project, and you can sell out in 30 seconds. That's really what it comes down to.
I know, it's wild. It really is. All right. So that's interesting. So I don't know if you caught it or if you're aware, but I interviewed Patrick Ewing last week, and I gave him this conundrum. I gave him this question. I said, if you could have floor seats to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, but it meant that you'd have to root for like the Hawks for the whole next season if the Knicks lost. And he's like, oh, I would do it. I like the Hawks. He said the only team I wouldn't do it for are the Sixers.
I did
I
not
was,
see that, but that's amazing.
I was curious if you feel a similar way about being a New York sports fan.
You know what? I don't have any aggressive ill will towards the New York fans. I mean, you know, I'm a Philly sports fan for sure, but I also understand the hatred towards Philly sports fans because I'm not the stereotypical crazy feel. But like, yeah, I mean, I'll even go down to a Eagles tailgate and just look around. And it's like, whew, these people are nuts. So you know what? I actually cannot take too much personal offense to that take. I know that I'm not the Philly fan that is likely lumped into the people that Pack Rip's not a fan of.
Yeah, I feel like you and Jimbo are just like this, like the kind Philly fans. Like you don't. I mean, it's like me. I'm a Boston fan. I don't think you. When you think of a Boston fan, this is not what you think about. You think about just probably you think about a Philly fan, honestly, just wearing Boston uniform.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Um, and like what else is going on like with the Sixers actually? We could talk about that for a second. Like I read the other day and it was weird because it was like a Portuguese NBA fan account that I have on Instagram. But it was saying that like Ben Simmons is running out of money and that he might come back to the Sixers. What's
I
actually going
heard
on over
that.
there?
I heard that. Yeah, Ben's running low on cash. I mean, it's a mess. I can't really see Ben playing any games for the Sixers. I'm assuming that he'll hopefully get traded before the trade deadline at some point. I'm also assuming that we're not going to get much value for him because I can't imagine why anyone would want him on their team after all of this. It's really turned south quickly, going from last year feeling like our year to really make a run to everything obviously Simmons did during the playoffs, which was just hated to see it. Hated to see it. Refused to shoot the basketball.
What
It's a
do you
mess.
think that was about? Do you think that was just like a confidence thing?
Yeah, it's got to just be some sort of mental block confidence thing that is like really, really holding him up. And then it seems like he just totally lost it from there. And now I just, it's too far gone. I can't imagine it ever coming back. I can't fathom the boos that would be received if Ben Simmons was ever announced in the Wells Fargo Center as the Sixers starter again. That would actually really be something that would get me to go to a Sixers game for sure.
Imagine too if he like gets traded and then makes his
When he
first
comes
start
back.
back.
Yeah,
Oh my.
the next time he plays a game, no matter what jersey it is in the Sixers stadium, it's going to be a tough day for him.
Yeah. They're going to have to make sure there's no batteries for sale on like a 10-mile radius of the stadium. Yeah, I don't know. And then the other night, Embiid, like I haven't been keeping very close tabs on the Sixers, but I know that they're like 10-10. They're sort of Embiid got blocked last night trying to hit a really strange game winner. So you're not are you feeling confident? You think the Sixers can somehow pull it out?
I'm not feeling very confident, to be honest. I think it's just not going to be the year for them. It's tough. Joel Embiid is a true generational talent, truly special player, and just starting to feel like we're not going to be able to take advantage of that window. So what I'm hoping is we find a way to get rid of Simmons sometime before the trade deadline, take the off season to figure out what the future is, maybe make some free agent signings or do something to flip things around, and then hopefully have a new fresh post Ben Simmons start.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you got some good players. You got like Maxi's really good.
Maxi's great. Which is the other thing, because it's like to get anyone good in return, it would probably have to be Simmons and Maxi, and then you don't really want to get rid of Maxi because he's been playing so well and showing a lot of promise. So I think Maxi could be a guy that emerges as a really strong number 3, number 2 type, and already has.
Yeah, I think in this case, it's almost, I don't know if these kind of trades happen like in baseball where, the Red Sox signed the panda bear, that catcher from the Giants, and paid him an obscene amount of money. And then eventually you just like let him go and you get some like AAA rookie who's nothing special in return. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Ben Simmons.
Yep. I don't think we're going to get much of anything from him. And it's sad.
Yeah, sooner the better.
He was supposed to be one of the best, man. He was supposed to be like one of the top 5 players in the league, and it just never quite panned out.
And how much is that going to hurt too when he goes to like, who's he going to go to? Let's think.
And then I don't know. It's like just be a stud again.
Yeah, he's going to go to some bottom dweller team with no pressure, and he's going to put up like a triple-double every night. It's going to happen.
Yeah, that is going to happen, isn't it? He's like he's been spending all this time when he's not playing with the Sixers now, perfecting his jump shot. He's going to be draining threes.
Oh my Lord, that'll be amazing if that happens. Him and Steph Curry leading the league. Oh my gosh, I really hope that happens. And so Eric's got a question. Do you have any thoughts on Top Shot and Boardroom? So Boardroom is the Kevin Durant thing, right?
Yep. I had thoughts that I was super excited when I saw that announcement. I don't know that I've heard or seen anything since then, but I think it just goes to show that we're in good hands here. There's a lot of big deals being made from a lot of big people. And, as people in our position, of course, we're going to get focused on the micro and the value of the Top Shot market and what's happening on the day-to-day basis. But people like Roham and others at Dapper Labs are not, we probably don't want to hear it, but they're not focused on what's happening today or tomorrow or next week in Top Shot. They're focusing on the longer-term vision. And you can see that all of the pieces are in place. Dapper Labs is super well positioned. They've got all the right licenses, all the right pieces on the board. Now, we're just looking to them to move those pieces into the right places. And I have to think that they'll get there. I hope that they get there sooner than later. But yeah, I think, having Durant and the team on board just goes to show that Top Shot's not going anywhere, and there's plenty more to come.
I think you're right. But I also think that, for example, like this drop tomorrow, are you going to line up for it? The new threads?
Yeah, I will. I always say that I will, but then sometimes I will actually personally just like forget because I got a lot going on. So that's when that it's not in like a great place, right? Like I fully intend to line up for the pack tomorrow, but if it just so happens that I'm busy at that time, like I can also easily forget about it. Whereas if this was, 8 months ago, my day would be planned around making sure that I'm in line for the pack drop. So, I'm not to the point where I'm like intentionally saying, no, I'm not going to get in line, but it has become, there's just less hype around them now. I feel like, unfortunately, but it's still fun to get a pack.
Yeah, ripping a pack is always fun.
I know.
And I remember those days in February. I had like a cell plan in Brazil. We'd go to the beach, and I'd literally like not spend more than 20 minutes at a time, like away from my phone. Like, is a stress pack happening? So in some ways, it's my mental health probably appreciates that that's no longer the case, but my bags don't. So it's a tough balance, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what Coffee just said in the chat. Say less. We don't want to hear that in my bags. I know, man. I know. I hear you. I don't want to hear it, dude. I looking at the account valuations can be painful sometimes, but we'll see. We're gonna get this together. I think the Flash Challenge is a great step into the direction of where things could become, and I also think that we'll have a chance at Own the Moment to put some more focus at some Top Shot related stuff after the NFL season is over, and we've got some some ideas up our sleeve as well to hopefully bring in continued ways to engage the community and have some fun stuff to do with our moments.
That sounds awesome. And you guys are an amazing like technical back end. So I trust that will happen. So we have a poll completion here. I stopped it now. We got overwhelming majority. People will line up for the new Threads pack drop, 80-20. Yeah, I like the idea of it. It's just like you said, it's not just a massive. You're not taking that train to Value Town. It's just kind of fun. It's like, yeah, I like seeing Dennis Schroeder in a Celtics jersey.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. It'll be interesting to see what, when NFL kicks off, what that's like. I think that we'll get that feeling of pack drop craziness happening again once the NFL starts to come out. Also, the idea of like the melts for NFL was pretty cool, where you can have, I guess my understanding is that you could basically get like a combination of plays either from the same game or, like a Jonathan Taylor and his 5 touchdowns, or Leonard Fournette just scored 4 touchdowns today, getting like all of those in one combination. I think that seems like a cool concept too. But yeah, I think the full pack craze will be back once we have an NFL one. And of course, once we get rare and legendary packs, I mean, that's always going to be exciting. We've got like around Christmas time, right? They're going to be releasing
Deck the hoops.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is what we'll get. Definitely me, and I'm sure everyone excited for sure.
Right. And what about the reserve pack? I'm guessing you're a busy man. I'm sure you don't have 350 floor moments to trade in.
Yeah, I do not. What are the floors are 3 now?
I think they're 3. I mean, last night I was looking, there were like 4. I'm like, oh my goodness, no. But yeah, like when the live token thing starts showing you that like the deal is $3, like this isn't good.
Yeah.
This is not good for the expected value.
I do not have the floor moments, and I wish there was a way to like bulk buy or something. I would totally do that if I was able.
So would you bulk buy 350 for 3 a piece right now? So what would that be, like a little over like $1,100?
$1,100, and then what? That would get me the right to maybe get into line for it.
It would get you the right to get into line, and as of right now, I think there's a like your odds are very high right now because the amount of people that were able to grind 350 tickets is quite low. So there's 500 packs, and if I had to guess, there's probably like 650 people or 700 by the time Tuesday rolls around that will be able to go for a pack. But the variant,
I think if I could click a button to buy $1,100 worth of floor moments, I would do it.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to click it for 350 times to buy $1,100 worth of moments.
Yeah, I've been doing this over months just because I like when they first started mentioning it, and like so I come from the position of being in like a Top Shot hole, so I'm like, ooh, they just mentioned these S1 packs. That's going to get me out of my hole. So I'm going to start collecting. So I started collecting back in like S2. I was sniping all day, $2 moments. Now my predicament is those S2s. I feel like those are going to be worth more, and I don't want to trade those in.
Yeah.
So
like I was actually looking at this before the show. I have 350 moments, but they're like $4 and $5 moments, not the $3 moments. So I guess if I really wanted to light money on fire, I could just be super lazy and turn in $4 and $5 moments. But I might have to draw the line with myself on that one.
Yeah, because the way I'm thinking about that is also once they announce like Deck the Hoops and they're going to say like you need to collect a score of X, all those moments are going to probably go crazy because everyone's going to ape in the same way they're doing now. So let's see what's going on in here. It's good for those of us not going for the trade ticket pack. Means I've made all my money back on shitty 60K moments. You're right. You can make a few bucks back on those 60K moments now. Never thought I'd get $3 for a 59,930 James Johnson.
What happens with the? Okay, so I get my 350 trade tickets.
Yeah.
I turn them in. And what if I don't get a pack?
Then you just have a nice bag of trade tickets.
Okay, so you just keep the trade tickets and you can use them for the next time. But and then they'll probably never get used for anything again, to be honest.
No, I mean, I sincerely don't think that's going to happen, but I'd be absolutely. Are you kidding me? You think?
I guess there's so many. Yeah, I guess they'll have to do something again.
There's gonna be so many users that just trade in $1,000 of value for trade
Yeah.
tickets, and
And then they're gonna
obviously
have
they're
to.
gonna do something, and that's gonna be the next conundrum.
Everything just exactly. It just feels like it's like in like the tech world, right? It's like technical debt. There's so much debt being accumulated I mean, even collector score has gotten so damn complicated now. It's like that feels like just debt on the system. Like, if you could start fresh tomorrow, collector score would be very easy to understand. So if somebody's just joining, it's like you should be able to explain collector score to someone in a minute. And I feel like I don't even really understand. Like there's just so much nuance to it, which I just feels unnecessary. And that's some of the, but like then it's, just getting caught in this. Everyone was so angry. So you have to throw this carrot out there of like, oh, well, we're going to do a collector score. We're going to do trade tickets. We're going to do this. And that's like, okay, now that we said that we're going to do that, let's figure out how to do that. And then let's figure out how we can make that last longer term. It just feels like a messy like web that I don't know how it's going to get untangled eventually. That's why I'm really, hopefully NFL is just nice and clean and simple. Like I'm all about simplicity. Simplicity is king. And especially when you're a product that's trying to go to the mass markets, like people like simple stuff. And I think a lot of this has gotten a little bit too complicated and it's hard to follow. And that's why people like us exist, to help break it down. So I guess we got to be grateful for that. But I do think that some of this stuff has gotten a bit too into the weeds.
I would agree with that. I do think that there's probably ways they can simplify things I mean, there's so much they can do on like the collection section of your moments. Like right now, it feels so beta, so to speak, when you look at your collection. Like it's auto sorted by your most recent. There's no pricing on anything. You don't know what anything is worth. Like if they could just have a little toggle and just show you by the moment, kind of actually like Live Token does, you can just see per moment what the CS is. And I don't know, maybe OTM has that or will have that, but that is something that they could potentially do and just show you how it all adds up perhaps. But yeah, it is a little bit too convoluted right now. Coffee is saying, what do you think of their S3 roadmap? It seems like the community isn't enjoying it so far.
It's actually an interesting question because my first thought was like, okay, when it came out, I was happy with it. I was glad that they have a roadmap, but then, I mean, it is a long-term full season roadmap, and I feel like we haven't really hit any of it yet. Right. So I'm glad that they have a roadmap. I think that it makes sense that to lay everything out and have an understanding of what it's going to be like. But at the same time, there's not like, I guess I remembered that there's the Christmas Day pack drop coming up, but it's not like I have the roadmap imprinted into my head, which maybe means that it isn't as exciting. Maybe if it was the best roadmap ever, I'd like know it all. And I feel like I knew it back when I was studying it and we were talking about it on shows. But yeah, so I guess I'm glad that they have one. I don't think it's anything, knocking my socks off on a daily basis, but I also think that that's fine. It doesn't have to be that way. And also I think that the roadmap should be just that. It should just be, hey, we have a plan, but then like on top of that roadmap, you all out of nowhere knock in a surprise. And like, to me, that like, if they told us every single thing they're going to do and don't do anything above and beyond that, I think that would not be good. I think you have to give the roadmap to give people the confidence that you're thinking about things and then over deliver on top of that roadmap.
Agreed. Surprise and delight. And I like the micro, so to speak, roadmaps that we're getting. Like, here's what's happening today. Here's what's on the schedule. And then you get your flash challenges. And like, I really love what they're doing with that. So I'm very hopeful that just gets better and better. So Eric Chapman is also feeling a little irritated about the collection screen, and N Hoffenby is like, TJ, how do you not even understand CS when your website tries to tell people how to increase it? And I think that is showing us how convoluted.
Yeah, I think the reason I know it's so complicated is because it was extremely difficult to create the calculator because it is so complicated. And then when they add new moments in S3, it becomes even more complicated. So like, on one hand, I'm actually maybe in the best position to realize how complicated it is, because it should be easier for someone like us to create the tool. But because there's so much nuance and there's so much changes and there's different changes for different pack drops, like, yeah, it's complicated. I don't think there's any, if any, like, I'll debate against anyone that says, "Oh no, it's not complicated." Okay, explain to me how it's not complicated, and I would happily take the complex side on that argument with anyone.
Yeah, well, it's hard to disagree with that. Um, all right, man. Well, that sounds pretty good. I'm personally getting excited for your next owners club for the NBA. I wanna try to join that. I'm gonna have to try to buy it in the first minute. But we don't have any idea when that is intending to happen, right?
We do not. No,
Okay.
it's definitely something that we want to do at some point, but I wouldn't expect it anytime soon, unfortunately.
All
We're
right.
we're very focused on making sure that the NFL season goes well and that we knock that one out of the park, and then we have plenty of time to figure out the 2022 season plan from football and beyond.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, and obviously that's doing really well. I see people making content around it. People are making like strategy shows around it. So that's really going awesome. And this and Hoffman is asking if you're going to do the Owners Club March Madness. I mean, oh, I guess for college basketball, is that the
Yeah,
question?
that'd be college basketball. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There are endless sporting events that our concept could apply to.
yeah.
So we have discussed many of them and have not committed to doing any of them, but we have discussed just about all of them.
It's pretty exciting. There's so many options. Well, that's awesome. I know. So you've been on for almost an hour, so I know you wanted to get back to your Sunday eventually. But is there anything else you wanna tell the audience? I mean, I know your tag, your Twitter account is right there. That's On the Moment NFT. You can find him on there. Is there anything else you'd like to share? The stage is yours.
Yeah, you guys can also follow my personal account at TJL5124DFS. I actually have a tweet up there still. I was doing the Top Shot giveaway for Thanksgiving, so I'll be giving away 10 packs soon. So I think that's still open. I don't think I put a time limit on it, and I haven't pulled together the results yet. So if you want to get in on that, you can give me a follow there. And no, just thanks for having me on. Appreciate everything that you do for the community. I think one of the big reasons that we've been able to sustain this awesome community is people like yourself making content out there on a regular basis and giving just good honest takes about what's happening. I think everyone's gotten to a good point of that. There's a ton of awesome people in the Top Shot space and beyond, and looking forward to continuing this journey. Looking forward to NFL, and then whatever the next steps are with the Owners Club, we'll definitely keep you guys posted, and I'll give you a heads up whenever we have another game that you can get involved in.
All right. Well, I can't wait for it. Keep doing what you're doing, and thanks for joining us. So until the next time, TJ. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. All right. Well, that was TJ Laessig. Really smart, very sharp guy, and incredible work that he's doing with his own NFT and at Own the Moment as well. They put on regular content that's great as well. So that was great. But the fun doesn't end here. And Poker Pro Eric is here to say there's too many frogs on this website. He actually meant to say frauds, but I prefer to say frogs. Too many frogs and so many liars that said they were not going to do the S1 packs. And now they are. I know, Poker Pro. I don't know what's up with that. I guess people decided that they're bigger gamblers than they originally thought. I don't know what you guys think about that. But speaking of frogs, we have Dream Shaker in the green room, and if you recall, last week he was the frog duck, and he got rugged right at the bottom and didn't win. So it's only right that Poker Pro is bringing up frogs when we have Dream Shaker in the back room. So Dream, I'm gonna bring you on. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, the organizer of Boards to Buckets. He's got his Discord. He's got his YouTube show. Check him out. And here he is. Hey, Dream. How's it going? Oh, I can't hear you, buddy. You're muted.
There we are.
There you
Here
are.
I am. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. How's everything going?
Going well. Nice holiday weekend here in the States. So, had a good time with the fiance, with the dog, got the house nice and clean. It's good to get back to this though, right? Got a pack drop happening tomorrow. So excited.
Yeah, is there something you're hoping to pull in that backdrop?
At first I wasn't even sure if I was going to do it, like being honest. But now that, I looked at the chat and I was actually pretty surprised by, the amount of people relative to what I thought. We're going to go for a pack, why not, I guess. Nothing in particular I'm looking for. There is that new, what is it? Spencer Dinwiddie moment, which is his first one as a Wizards player. And I think that he's had a fantastic season. And so I think getting that kind of has its own intrinsic value for me. To get his first moment on the Wizards, because I think he has a pretty incredible story to come back from an ACL tear and now just running a really nice show over there in the Wizards. So good for him.
Yeah, they're a really surprising team, aren't
Yeah.
they? I don't think anyone could have thought that the Wizards were going to show out like this. And Montrezl Harrell is looking incredible. I don't think anyone could have thought this is going to happen. But
hey, you know what? Sometimes having, a depth on the team can really go a long way versus just getting, the alphas, right? 3 alphas on a team versus a team of like 8 or 9. I mean, the Wizards are putting together a pretty interesting team. So we'll see. We'll see how long it lasts for. But yeah, I think Spencer Dinwiddie is like a huge part of what happened there. And so his moment will be the first one in this collection. So to me, there's value there.
yeah, and I was almost thinking in terms of like bottlenecks, but I guess that's not really the case because when you look at some of these archive moments, for example, those are also technically bottlenecks and doesn't really do a whole lot to the price movement.
These are more intrinsic type things. And I think it's cool too that they're doing a common pack that's not a base pack. And so that's exciting too, that there's kind of a theme behind this. And I'm interested to see kind of, I have to watch the videos. So I usually like to watch, the 30-minute videos with kind of what's happening on there. So we'll see what they've done with some of these clips and stuff, but I'm interested to see kind of the arrangement of the set too.
Oh, bless you. You go through that whole thing.
Hey man, I live, eat and breathe like these, it's just so interesting to me, just the curation of like these moments, even if they barely kind of go into like the selection process when they're doing them. It is really cool to see what they chose throughout the season relative to me watching all this basketball. So it's cool to see just, oh yeah, I saw this on this night and this on this night. I'm like in the very small camp of people who like cares about that stuff, but my fandom is somewhat rewarded when I see a cool moment that I watched like, somewhere else. Because I'm always got basketball. I even got the Raptors game on right here. Want to give a special shout out to Veerman, one of your old guests as well, who has a whole row of people that he's taking out the Toronto Raptors game. And so, he's doing something over there tonight. And
I saw that. That definitely gave me some FOMO. That just sounds like so much fun. I would have loved to be able to do that.
He's got a few of them happening, so we'll see. But really cool. Just make your own utility, right? There it is. So.
Sure. So Sinan's giving you a shout out.
What up?
Quarter is saying more S1 would surely dilute the supply and lower the prices. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, it will.
Well, remember, there's only, is it 500 packs that are being released?
I mean, it's not going to be a massive crushing of any values.
Moments, I think.
Yeah. It won't be massive, but on the whole, it will lower the prices, I would say.
Maybe, but Tanny, let's walk through that real quick. So let's assume now that you have 500 packs. And you have these people who have grinded like whatever, like $2 moments throughout this time. I mean, would you really like grind out like all these $2 moments to like undercut on the whole thing? I mean, I know this market is really crazy.
I was gonna say,
right, but that like the difficulty relative to like entering a pack like drop and clicking a button versus like grinding 350 moments. I feel like there's going to be one type of market participant who's going to be more likely to undercut than the other. So my theory is that like we'll see what people end up getting. But I think it's going to be very interesting on how the other people who are currently in like have their listings, how they adjust their prices. And so I think that it'll be interesting one way or the other to look at it. This is a really cool like data point that I think a lot of people, if they look at the right things, can be very interesting on how they roll out these pack drops in the future.
I don't know because I wasn't looking about like what's happening with the higher priced moments if people are undercutting currently because they're worried about like new entries onto their moments. But I feel like I may have seen that somewhere.
So like the interesting little dynamic that's happening lately are that challenges really aren't helping. At least not the lower middle tiered ones. I've had several archive moments that have dropped tremendously in price as challenges have gone on. So I think in a lot of ways people look for that challenge bump, but I think people are looking to liquidate pretty quickly. But interestingly enough, it's in some way, shape, or form, like the prices do end up stabilizing when different people end up buying them down the. It's a weird dynamic that's happening, but challenges are really where I'm starting to see a little like flip effect, and so I'm interested to see how that with the rest of the market because everything just follows liquidity, right? And so somebody mentioned a really good point here in the chat about S1 having very little liquidity. So I think that's also like maybe why we may not see as much like crazy undercutting. Is
This guy actually thinks it could drive the price way down because it's true that if people get onto a moment and they don't realize that it takes so long to sell, then a lot of people just panic, undercut, and just keep going until someone finally bites.
So let's put ourselves in the shoes of somebody. Like, let's say, for instance, I'm a person who holds an S1, I don't know, LeBron moment, let's say, right? And I own the number 25 cereal. And so I know already because I hold like this really high value, like dollar moment that number 23 and number 27 are going to be in this pack or something, or there's a possibility of them. I'm probably looking to see what that person is selling for. And maybe that's going to trigger some kind of undercutting behavior between that person and someone else. But to the effect that other people out there are going to be watching this stuff like, hey, I didn't want to spend 350 or like all this time to get 350 trade tickets. I'm going to wait for you guys so I can go and get my right price. It's going to be very interesting. So maybe in some ways, yeah, there could be some crazy undercutting, but then when you have liquidity getting thrown right in, it creates all these waterfall effects like from existing holders already who are probably waiting for this to happen. And so I think in a lot of ways, like it just, I don't know, these market participants, the ones who've already been existing holders, very interesting to see what's going to happen with them. I think we assume they're going to undercut, but let's see, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting once the new sellers arrive, what the existing holders or existing sellers decide to do.
And if there's some overlap too.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. So yeah, do you have the trade tickets or no?
No, I'm not going to be doing it this time around. Yeah, not my game. It's my views on S1 are a little different than several people, but I think even some of the things I'm highlighting as good things, I think that there's just as much of worry there. So for me, the calculus isn't going to be in the net positive for me and not my time.
You're in the Jimbo camp. You prefer not to buy S1 because of like the concentration of like single holders.
Yeah, there's something to the market control aspect of it, but more than anything, for me, it comes from the basketball side where I know that supply is the big driver behind that. And so for me, if I'm going to be looking into the particular S1s, it's going to be relative to like bubble moments. Like those would be something that I think are basketball relevant and can hold a lot of value down the road. But like supply being the main driver behind some of these things, there's like bad S1 moments, right? Like just like not good jump shots, like, duplicate moments. I think supply can be a driver only like so far. And one thing that nobody really ever talks about is that you can have an archive moment of the S1 years, right? Like that's entirely possible. So you could actually increase the supply count pretty easily. All they have to do is just release a 2018 season like archive in 2025. So I mean, how long? I don't know. So I really like to take the approach of Top Shot's next 10-year trajectory before I make big decisions like that. So for me, that's kind of a wait and see approach on what they do with archives. I think that's one way that they can drive up a lot of supply in a very quick amount of time, but obvious reasons why they wouldn't do that. So let's see.
Yeah, and also I think the Top Shot debut badge kind of protects those moments a little, at least in terms of the debut moments.
Yeah.
So Bogdan is asking if you can guess the number of LeBron S1 1000 mint sales in November. That sounds like a tough thing to guess.
I'm going to guess like 5.
Yeah. Bogdan, spoiler, 3. There
okay,
you go.
3. Okay, yeah. That seems about right. Yeah, that's currently existing holders they have the power right now. So this will take a lot of that power out of their hands, and this shifting power dynamic we'll see. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I'd love for some new market participants who are like really savvy and like good people really playing with the market, and I don't know, it's gonna be fun. I'll be spectating.
Yeah, and I think the challenge too is there's just not as much liquidity now just because of the market dynamic, because people, Top Shot is not as much of like the new chick at the high school movie. Top Shot is kind of right now, it doesn't have as much hype. So I think if we were back in like February days, if we compare what kind of massive purchases on LeBron's are happening then, there were probably more at higher prices than there are now. Just like it's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I don't know. I'm not bringing up the data right now, but N Hoffen B says, "What's the guess as to when the second?" I think it's one per month, if I'm not mistaken, or is it over 18 months? Is that what they said?
Yeah,
I
they
don't
said
remember.
some. I forget what the timeline is, but yeah, it's some indefinite period of time too. I forget exactly how long it's going to be, but yeah, it's not going to be for a little while. But then again, that begs the other question too, right? And so that's the other part that, for better and for worse, they're not telling us. But imagine that you stack up 350 trade tickets. Now you're left holding that bag. So the fact that there hasn't been any announcements as to what you can use that for, I think it's going to end up being a good thing for those people. Some temporary anger, I'm sure, but I assume that there's a plan behind that, and something that could be even cooler than like these S1 moments, like something that really targets what I'm looking for in like basketball relevancy, low supply moments through some other mechanism. Like there's a bunch of things they can do. So I think that there's all, like, even if you strike out this time, there's that potential, but that worries me as well. Like, what if it's an MGLE like rare drop or something? Supply count on S3 for that worries me. So I wouldn't be happy if that's my exchange for my 350 trade tickets, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I think that's also why you see people desperately trying to get into this drop, because they just want to like get it over with now and not potentially be holding that trade ticket bag, and because then the odds get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and then you're just like holding this bag of trade tickets and like, please, I want to do something with them. So I think that's why people are doing whatever they can to get in now. Tom is saying smart people like Dream Shaker and I would rather a Deck the Hoops pack than an S1 pack.
Hey, you know what? I mean, I don't know if that's a smart thing for our, pockets, but certainly, like, if we believe that this is going to be future value for global Top Shot collectors, I think certainly there's always going to be a market for people who want the basketball relevant stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's pains though, right? You can't collect everything. That's the lesson this year, and that's why I have to at some point find a gauge, like not this pack drop. So S1 for me is these trade tickets, not this particular pack drop, but there will be things with the Deck to Hoops, like all that stuff that's popping up. I can't wait for that. And so maybe that's when you'll start to see more of that demand that you're kind of talking about, create more liquid markets apart from just challenges and flash showcases and that kind of stuff. So,
but you're saying that when like a rare or legendary, like a Deck the Hoops pack happens, you think there's going to be more liquidity around, more broader around the Top Shot market, or not focused in on those moments?
So I definitely think there can be like a trickle down effect. So like, for instance, all right, so let's take the new MGLE, like, pack drop, like S3. So as soon as you were to drop like something like that, obviously everybody wants to sign up for a pack drop, and then they'll release the packs, whatever supply they end up doing at that time. But in order for you to be able to get that, then you'll start selling off bags, and maybe it could be the challenges, flash showcases, but like using those mechanisms to like get the best value that you can in order to be able to trade in for that pack drop. Once you start to have more liquid markets around, like, it'll start to create some of those behaviors. So I think that challenges are a great way to create like liquidity during certain moments, and Top Shot's, I'm sure, going to do a lot of things in order to be able to kind of get you second guessing on as to whether you sell out of your challenge requirement moments. And they haven't really utilized collector score. So I think that's going to also play like a huge role in the liquidity as well, once they start giving us a few more ranges as for some of these other pack drops down the road. So when that starts happening, maybe some more people start selling, but the incentivizing has always been these new pack releases. So as December rolls around, you got the hollows and you got the MGLEs, like inevitably it's going to be people that are trying to raise money, raise collector score, and that's always going to have its trickle down effect. So and yeah, I think it's going to be broad across the spectrum, because I think there's some really cool stuff that they haven't released anything yet, and they've been selling out on everything. Like these moments are great from like a basketball like purist perspective, but in terms of like value, like very like top heavy. So but they've been selling out on everything. The market has been the market, but I mean, scale wise, I mean, they've achieved what they wanted to achieve. Like they raised tons of money. Yeah, I think that it's going to be an interesting road, I think, in December. We'll really see the market then. That's my belief, is that you'll see a big spike, and that's when basketball season is also at its at its prime, like right there around end of December, early January. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, let's hope. I hope you're right. And Raw is asking for new showcase music.
Yes.
New music.
Yes, thank you.
Anyway, I think I have a pack we could rip. So let's play that music and let's rip a pack. All right, let's do it. I got my Tony Parker one here. I guess let's rip it. Why not?
Yeah, I got a 2013. So that was the year that he actually got his championship for my Miami Heat. So they got the little revenge game.
That's a great cereal you got.
I do like the 2013s.
All right, 58-27.
Middle of the pack. Or I guess actually, like towards the end, there's a 6,000 min count. Okay.
Yeah, towards the end. Okay, well, that's okay. We'll be okay. Let's rip. I've been holding on to this old base set. I guess I'm gonna hold on to this birthday pack probably for a while. But let's rip this one. This is the base set 47. See if we can get a little bit better luck on these stream opens.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Assist Cavs, Darius Garland.
Not bad. Yeah, this is a really cool moment. I actually like.
It is a cool moment. And poor Sexton had to get injured. Huh?
And but Garland's feasting. He had 26 points. I think it was like yesterday or the day before. Kids crushing it.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a Garland. Let's see what's next. Got a Brooklyn dunk, Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. This is a fun one. I love. If this is the one I'm thinking about. Okay, no, not the same one. Still a fun one though. I like the little hang off at the end of the rim.
And he just happened to remember how to dunk after he left the Pistons.
Yeah. That's a great joke in NBA Twitter. Like, that he fooled everyone. Yeah. Love to see it though. I love Blake. There was nothing like watching him in the Clippers. If you didn't get to see him in a stadium, then sorry. John Wall.
Yeah. John Wall is not in the NBA currently.
Well, actually, he is. Like, interestingly enough, he's going through a bit of an issue with the Rockets. So he's on the Rockets. He started for them last year. He had a decent, statistical season, but he definitely looks a bit washed. Team is young. They're on a new path. So he's actually been sitting out the entire year on contract because he's got a heavy, last year or two on his contract. And so he just said over the weekend, I'll play for you guys, but I don't want to come off the bench. I want to be a starter. And now they're saying you can only play if you come off the bench. And so he's saying, no, I'm going to sit out the season. So they just they've done this weird back and forth for 3 days. It's a weird situation, but yeah.
Yeah. That must be nice to just be able to sit out and just make millions of dollars. Can I do the same? That'd be
20
wonderful.
million, I think. 29 million. I forget how much he's getting paid. It's over.
That's such a no-brainer move on his behalf. If he really doesn't care too much about playing, then he could just be like, yeah, just play me, start me, or I'm not playing. And they'll be like, well, we're not going to start you. Okay, so let's collect my 29 million and call it a day.
Yeah, for what reason? I mean, to go injure himself on court with a team that's not going to be going anywhere down the road. It's I can understand his decision, and I mean, he still seems like a pretty capable starter for that team at least. So, yeah, I wouldn't advocate to not work if you're being paid under your employer, but I would say I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, for sure. So Bogdan's saying he's making 41.25 million. Really?
It's 41 million this year. Wow.
Oh my
I wonder. I could have sworn I read 29 million somewhere, but yeah, I know he's got a heavy backloaded contract. That was a crazy one. How many great tickets did you buy for 41.25 million?
Quite a lot. All right, well, let's do a little duck race. So just give me a quack in the chat. Enter quack and Dream. You can join too. You gotta try to get your revenge.
Of course. No, I get fleeced on these things, man. Like I'm in here every week, Tandy. I'll tell you the one thing that I'm the most. I swear, I over the weekends it gets so tough to keep up with Top Shot, but every Sunday I'm definitely here, and you wrap everything up nicely. What was this thing about airdrops that I caught it a little bit late at the beginning, but I was like, whoa, I didn't remember this part from this week. Pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I try to do that. I try to keep it tight. All right, so you got a few quacks in here. I know sometimes it takes a little while. There's a little bit of a delay on the.
And make sure you guys drop a like for my guy over here. Always got to go and remind the people out there. Drop a like for us
get
out
that
there.
banner going. Get that banner going.
Drop that like.
All right, so keep on quacking. Let's see if how we're doing here. So let's see how many eligible users we got. It looks like only 12 of you, so that's going to be quite a good chance to get in. Recorder just got in there too. About 12. All right, so we'll give you guys a few more seconds. Drop in those those quacks because it looks like 7 of you are not quacking. So you're just going to lose your chance, unfortunately, if you forget to quack. Got Ryomi's quacking. All right. We're gonna get this going now. Okay, let's do it. That's a pretty good odds today. Pretty good odds, people. I'm loading it in if this is your last chance or forever hold your peace, as they say. Okay, let's get it in here. Yeah, one last check.
Yeah, got one last one who went and
All right,
stuck right in.
Bodwin just
Right at the basket.
Yeah.
Second basket.
All right, let me just make sure. Yeah, he's in. Hold on, I gotta add Bodwin. I'm just gonna have to. There he is. Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so looks like we got 13 ducks in there. Oh, we got another one. Mick, wait, Mick, are you already in here? Yeah, Mick's in there, right? All right, we're gonna run it. We got 13. So let's do it. Let's share it. And people are hoping for a naked duck. Do you have a theory, Dream, about the ducks?
All I know is that mine always will give me a sense of expectations and then all of a sudden let me down. He just rugs me right at the end every time. So I think the fix is in. There's definitely a blacklist out for Dreams Duck. That's all I know. Everybody else, you'll know that you'll beat me. Like, that's it. There's one guarantee out there. You know you're going to beat me at the last second for sure.
Oh, man.
Someone out there.
Actually, you know what? I see one person, David Kim. So, David, I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to go back, get you in there.
Let's go throw him on there. Let's go throw him on there.
All right. Let me get him back in here. Just a second. All right, David, I'm getting you back in just one time, David. I think David might be the guy who watches on Twitch and is like, why am I not in those duck races? So now you know.
Yeah, the multi-stream game is always a bit interesting, but you do a good job of it, man.
Thank you.
You know where to lead them, so.
All right, so let's share this screen. All right, here we go. There's those beautiful ducks. We're going to shuffle them a couple times, keep it interesting. All right. Do it a few times. Do we like the outfits? This is a very interesting one. We got some interesting outfits here. So David, who just joined, we got the bee, got the teddy bear, we got the punk rocker with one eye. There, that's you, Dream, I think. No, you're next to him.
I think that got something on my head.
Yeah, it looks like you got some white hair, got a cop. So we got some interesting costumes here. We even got Tandy NFTs with the clown outfit. Nice. So let's see. Let's start it up. Ready? On your mark. Are you guys ready? Remember, you got to speed up with exclamation paddle. Here we go, or quack. On your mark, get set, go. All right, here we go. We got Raw on the Dream. Raw has the Dream outfit today with the frog suit, and the gaming wizard gets caught in quicksand. Raw is holding steady, but here comes Dream. Dream, don't.
You know what's gonna happen. There it is. I'm telling you every time.
You don't want to waste your speed in the beginning. That's the problem. So here comes Coral in the bear suit. She's feeling good. Got her number 4 on your screen. But Tom Davidson, the naked duck, is saying, I'm going to take it. I'm a naked duck. I win these things.
Damn, the naked duck, though. Uh-oh.
Not so fast as Tandy NFTs. But Quarter Maniacs, who is going to take it? It seems very iffy at the moment. Who is going to come from the back and take it?
Damn, Romy Qua just got left behind.
Yeah, Romy Qua, he just hit his like little flipper on something. It's anyone's game right now. Eric Chapman is the new duck. Yeah, the new duck. But here comes Tandy NFTs in his clown outfit. And here comes Roman. It's going to be close. Is it the punk rocker? Whoa, it's the punk rocker with the one eye.
The coolest looking duck won. Well done.
He had one eye. He couldn't see what was going on, his peripherals, but he just kept his one eye on the prize and just took it straight there for the win. So Mick Beeman, congratulations, Mick Beeman. A real chess game. I agree. This is a real chess game. There's nothing like the duck race. It's the most intense and competitive race that exists, probably. So Mick, you've won. I'll be honest, I'm probably only going to send your moment after Tuesday when I'm going to need your moment to trade in. But I will send you something. So DM me, tell me who's your favorite team, and I'll see what I can do. So I think that just about does it. Let me just see if anything interesting happened while we were racing. So there's Mick. See, I think I got red. Let's go. And there you go.
Yeah,
You did it.
called it.
You
Called
called it and you won.
Mm-hmm.
And Coral knew she was screwed because she was like in the front too early. And that you as well. You knew it.
Yep.
You knew you were going to get rugged.
Just know it's going to happen every time. No more expectations. When I see the turbo happen, I just know where it's going, right to the back of the line.
I know. And Clown Duck looked really good in the end there, but second best got clowned. All right. Well, that will do it for us. Thank you, Dream, for joining. I appreciate you making the time.
No problem.
And let's just close out with a little Kawhi laugh. Just to brighten everyone's day.
Of course.
And, yeah, so I appreciate it, and let's see what happens this week. We got some big pack drops. We got the S1 packs. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens on the market, like you were saying. We got the new threads that should just be sort of like an easy and fun. Just grab your pack and rip it and have fun.
That's it.
And let's just see. Let's see. I hope we can see some interesting additions as we keep on going with these flashbacks. I mean, these flash challenges.
Yeah, I think I wasn't really, I don't know about the whole adding in a rare towards the end of like last week, but I think that it wasn't too big of a thing to throw in there. So I think it's good that they're experimenting with the flash showcases. I know for us, like it's our most active days in our Boards and Buckets Discord is, flash showcases. Everybody wants to speculate on who's going to be the one to get to the top. And then, oh, well, this person happened, who's got a moment to lend. And it's been fun. Just getting people like having conversations about basketball. That's the easiest thing, but like, boom, like they pivoted very effectively. So I'm not even sure this was a part of the plans, which is a little worrisome, but at the same time, the fact that they could just react that quickly around it leads me to believe that they're going to have other ways of adding in some of these other packs down the road. So we'll see. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, I love it for those same exact reasons. People are actually tracking basketball games and geeking out about them over Twitter, and that's what this product is supposed to be doing. It wasn't supposed to be just about flipping and earning a buck. It was supposed to be about enjoying the NBA.
It's so much fun watching, like, okay, like who's the top rebounder or the top assists. I remember the night where we're tracking like LaMelo. No, not LaMelo. No more assists. And then he goes and he hits when it's like, oh no, you got it. And I don't know. It's just it's fun. Just even engaging in that kind of conversation. And I mean, when you think about what basketball was like a year ago, at least for me, it was working, and it's on the monitor right here. So the fact that I could even have this kind of fun now a year later out of like nothing is kind of crazy. So I think in a lot of ways we tend to complain about a lot of things that definitely like are worth complaining about, but in the end, giving us a fun on like a Wednesday night, NBA likes it. I love it. May not be, whatever, going to make all of us like rich, but hey, you know what? It's basketball. Ball is life, baby.
All right. Well, I think that's a good point to end on. So thank you all. And until the next time.
Thanks for having me on, man. Deuces.
Static Selector.